weighing heavily on their minds. So this is a tie that's going to provide a break for somebody, and also a rare moment of cup solace. In the last 12 years, this pair have only won 11 FA Cup ties between them. A catalogue of frustrations, a legacy of much changed sides. Indeed, Leeds' last victory in this great competition came at Cambridge back in 2017. Well, Jesse Marsh's frank admission that the power brokers told him they wanted a cup run suggests his approach is going to have to be different to that of Marcelo Bielsa, but will results follow suit? Cardiff have got illness ravaging the camp. They line up like this: Anik in goal, Sang, Nelson, Simpson and Bagan, who's making his first appearance since August, Sawyers and Rinomota, Harris, Philogene and Ojo and Davis. Leeds new boy Max Verber's on the bench. Joe Robles makes only his second appearance for the club in goal. In front of him a back four of Christensen, Llorente, Strauch and Firpo, Greenwood, JB and Somerville, Aronson, Gelhardt and Nonto. On the benches for Cardiff: Ng, O'Dowda, Rawls, Wintle and Kunku, Tanner, Wigley and two goalkeepers, youngster Benjamin and Ryan Alsop. Leeds subs: Ayling, Mark Rocket, Rodrigo, Harrison, Dramé, Verber, Perkins, Matteo Joseph and Klassen. The picture's just being taken. The two teams out on the pitch. Leeds in all white and Cardiff in all blue. The referee today, Jared Gillett, the Australian, and there is no VAR at this game. Now Wolves fans will say, no change there then. The picture's just being taken. And it's not full here. The Leeds contingent away to our right-hand side have travelled in great numbers, Stuart. They've got, I would guess, the thick end of 5,000 have made the long journey down from West Yorkshire. But plenty of empty seats. They've been averaging around 18,000 or so here at the Cardiff City Stadium for championship games, and a slight disappointment that this isn't a sellout today.
Yeah, it will be, certainly from the home fans, but you've got to admire the away fans travelling in the sheer numbers that they have down to South Wales, and they'll make an atmosphere of it. I think I miss, actually, in normal league games, the whole of the away end being away fans. I really do.
Well, Leeds' FA Cup story encompasses matches they can't forget and others they won't forget. If their win at Old Trafford as a League One side was one of the Cup's most memorable moments since the turn of the century, defeats at Histon and Sutton, Newport and Crawley all weigh heavily. As does a defeat in Cardiff when Leeds sat top of the league and lost to a side 10th in the third tier. Just over 20 years on, their Cup paths cross again. Two clubs whose last win came on November the 5th, hoping for a Cup success to galvanise their respective seasons. We're underway. Cardiff kicking from left to right. And the ball hung high by goalkeeper Jack Anik, and it drifts over everybody and out of play. Anik defending the Canton stand away to our left. The Leeds fans and the Grange stand away to our right, making fantastic noise. And Strauch's in possession for Leeds United, finding Llorente, and played for by him to Christensen, the Danish right back. Good switch of play out towards the Leeds United left for Somerville, who can bring it under control. Opportunity for him to try and take on Sang. Nonto is involved, but it's knocked away in the heart of the midfield by Sawyers for Cardiff. Jared Gillett has a look at a challenge that was made on Davis, but the Cardiff City striker doesn't get the free kick that he thought was justified. Strauch's got it again, the dark-haired, thick-set Dutchman at the heart of the Leeds United back line. Llorente playing it back for Strauch. Leeds with such a poor FA Cup record. 5 FA Cup wins in 12 years. They've lost their last 6 FA Cup ties. A fair few major shocks in that time as well. Hoping for better today. Llorente switching it wide for the blonde-haired Christensen over on the Leeds right-hand side. Then he's won an early throw. And Leeds with the huge majority of possession inside the opening couple of minutes, in driving rain now in South Wales, but still no view of the Cardiff box yet, Stuart.
No, the heavens have opened up here, that is for sure, and Cardiff seem quite content in sitting back in big numbers and defending very deep, and Leeds just entering Cardiff's box at this moment in time.
And they have it with Somerville. That's played back to the edge of the area. JB trying his luck, and he's shanked it slightly wide of Jack Anik, who was diving away to his left. We're able to hear the ball thud back off the hoardings behind the goal, but it was a really good strike by Darko JB.
Yeah, it certainly was. As I say, Leeds are having plenty of the ball. They're comfortable in Cardiff's half, and Cardiff are letting them play as long as they go out wide. But Nonto and certainly Somerville on this left-hand side will certainly cause them a problem if they give them too much room to operate in.
Well, JB, who had that shot, one of 4 in this Leeds United side, making his FA Cup debut today. Player that they signed from Manchester City in a £5 million deal in the summer, still a teenager, a product of a highly vaunted City academy. Here's Junior Firpo flicking 4-4, JB in the midfield. He plays the deepest lying and most central of the 3 in the engine room for Leeds. There's a neat pirouette there. He played it forward, it hit Simpson. Somerville will try and bring it forward. It's a turn inside the penalty area and a little shove in there, but Jared Gillett says no foul. As the ball is cleared, it goes out of play for a throw which will be taken on the Leeds left, but they're asking all the pertinent questions in these early stages. JB once more, really driving the ball forward. That one headed away by Rinamotta on the edge of the D. Back it comes out towards Firpo once more. All the play concentrated away to our left-hand side. JB down to the left-hand touchline. Nonto. A little give and go inside the penalty area between him and Somerville. They didn't quite come off. Cardiff desperately trying to bring it away with the fullback Sang, and then cleared down the line by Harris, but inevitably it's going to come straight back again. I think we've had a stoppage inside the opening 4 minutes or so. Just that one goal kick. No chance really for Cardiff to get a breather here in the face of some pretty intense Leeds United pressure. Llorente firing one which bounced a little bit awkwardly, but was well controlled by Somerville. He'll take it inside the penalty area, drop his shoulder, get past Sang, flashing across, but it bounces right on the edge of the 6-yard box and to safety for Cardiff. It's Cardiff 0, Leeds 0, but in the face of what we've seen so far, it might not be for long.
It looks like a very long afternoon for Cardiff. I think they're being far too subservient to this Leeds side. They've done everything they can to make Leeds feel comfortable. They've ceded the ball to them. They've enabled them to have territory, and Leeds are looking as though they're enjoying their afternoon's football.
Leeds just playing it back inside their own half for a change. A rare touch for Joel Robles, who 10 years ago was in the Wigan side that beat Manchester City in the FA Cup final. There's been a goal at Ashton Gate, the other side of the bridge from here. Ian Abrahams.
Bristol City 1, Swansea City 1 equaliser. Antoine Semenya's birthday yesterday. He's headed home an equaliser today. It's Bristol City 1, Swansea 1.
Still Derby 2, Barnsley 0 in the other cup tie, but is nearing its conclusion. Those two have got about 15 minutes to go. The Scottish Premiership, Motherwell 0, Hibs 1, and they're underway at Hartlepool, at Norwich and at Stockport in other FA Cup third round ties, but no goals in any of those so far. Stroud forced to play a hurried back pass under pressure, and good pressure as well from Isaac Davis. He went wide of Joel Robles, who on a very difficult, precarious playing surface decided just to stay on his feet, not take any chances, and it runs out of play for a Cardiff corner.
Yeah, Davis very isolated up front, obviously, with the rest of his teammates extremely deep, and he's going to have to make sure he holds this ball up and chases lost causes, which that was on that occasion. And as I say, it's ended up chasing Llorente's lost cause down, has got the team a corner.
That's a corner that Shea Ojo's going to take on the Cardiff right-hand side. 6 gone at 0-0, and it's beaten everybody. I don't know whether JB deliberately got out of the way of that on the edge of the 6-yard box, whether he got a shout. It was a vicious in-swinging delivery, but it didn't take a touch, and it's just gone straight through and out of play down near the far corner flag for a goal kick that'll be taken by Leeds and by Joel Robles. This is the 10th successive FA Cup round in which Leeds have been drawn away from home. Equivalent of tossing a coin 10 times and ending up with tails 10 times in a row. But they made a very good start to this one. Greenwood just losing out in the midfield for them. An unseasonably cold afternoon here in South Wales in the face of the driving rain. Ball played forward into Harris, making a run off the right flank. Sawyers getting involved in the heart of the midfield for Cardiff, is turning neatly, just guides it away from Aronson. The American chasing after him, but Cardiff able to maintain possession. and maintain possession, string some passes together in Leeds territory for the first time this afternoon. Work it back for the goalkeeper, Jack Anick. Anick, second choice here behind Ryan Alsop. They're getting another chance back in the side today. Leeds turning over possession over on the far touchline. The ball played in towards Somerville. Knocked away though by Simpson on the edge of the box. Strout forced the backpedal, quickly nods it down. Firpo, and then Llorente with a good touch just heads it into a neutral area where Christensen can make his way forward. He plays it forward towards Aronson. Greenwood then involved in the midfield has given a free kick away, fouling Philogene, and Cardiff have an opportunity to restart play, only about 7 or 8 yards inside their own half. 7.5 gone. It's Cardiff 0, Leeds 0. And here's the former FA Cup finalist, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, but both teams are showing to me in these early stages that they look more adept and enjoying the game when they've got possession of the ball, rather than doing maybe some of that dirty stuff you've got to do on a really wet Sunday on the first round of the FA Cup.
And now an opportunity, a brilliant challenge from Sang, sliding in from behind, but in doing so he's brought Somerville down and he gets a yellow card. Well, Somerville is pacey and had got in past him. It was played down the inside left channel, and Sang sliding in took both man and ball, and Jarrod Gillett has produced the first yellow card of the game.
Well, I've got to say, he chased him back there. He was the wrong side of him. He was under pressure, chasing back. We certainly made good contact with the ball, but I think his trailing leg ended up taking the player out. It was one of those challenges, and we've all made them, that you think, I'm going to have to take the ball, but the player can't continue.
Well, you say we've all made them. I never got close enough. He's still down receiving treatment, is Somerville, writhing in pain. Tom Sang in the book, and might be a lengthy stoppage here, so we'll catch up with events in the early stages at Carrow Road. Ian Stringer.
Got a stoppage as well. We're in the 9th minute, and the game's probably been stopped for about 3 or 4 minutes, Jim, because there's been an injury at the back to Scott Wharton, centre half. He was in a clash from a set piece with Hanley. He's gone down 0-0, neither side really with any opportunities, but a head injury and an early substitution for Blackburn. Norwich 0, Blackburn 0.
Thank you, Ian. Back to Ashton Gay, Bristol City, Swansea, and Abrahams.
And we've got 10 minutes to go. Still Bristol City 1, Swansea 1. Antoine Semenya's headed goal. I think Stephen Bender could have done a whole lot better with that. After Joel Pirro put Swansea ahead after 15 minutes. Swansea really paying for not putting their foot to the floor. And now Bristol City are trying to win this one. 10 to go. Bristol City 1, Swansea 1.
And Crescencio Somerville still down receiving treatment here for Leeds. The challenge came in, and it took some of the ball, as Stuart was saying. It took a little bit of the man as well, but it might have been the way that he fell on the other ankle that has caused him the problems.
Yeah, I think the scissor movement might have just caught his sort of standing leg, if you like, underneath the body of the challenge. So that seems, but he looks in quite a bit discontent here.
He's just getting back to his feet and is struggling to put any weight down on that ankle. He's made a really good start of the game, Somerville. He's been in decent form as well over the course of the last few weeks. He scored in 4 successive Premier League games before the World Cup, did the former Feyenoord man. I'm not convinced he's necessarily going to be able to play any further part in this, but they are leading in towards the touchline, not to the Leeds technical area. So it might be that give him a minute or so and he's going to be able to come back on. Leeds, after that lengthy stoppage, will now take the free kick that results from it. Greenwood to swing this in, right-footed, out towards the far post. Christensen coming in, trying to head it down, as by his presence alone won the first Leeds United corner.
Yeah, real strange lineup there from Cardiff. As I say, it's a free kick probably about 40 metres out from their goal, just to the left-hand side as you look at the Cardiff goal, and they've lined up really sort of on the opposite diagonal, overloaded that, and left a really big hole for a ball into feet. Leeds chose not to play it in there.
The Leeds still down to 10 at the moment while they assess Somerville. In comes the corner. There's a push around the penalty spot. Might have been Firpo that went down. Play goes on. JB tried to turn, wins another corner off the retreating Sawyers. And Somerville does now come back onto the field. Elsewhere, Derby 3, Barnsley 0. Jason Knight has scored the third. And the Rams are going to be going through and extending their unbeaten streak in all competitions to a very impressive 16 under Paul Warne. 12 minutes gone in this one. Cardiff 0, Leeds 0. Rain showing no sign of abating. Second Leeds corner in quick succession. Headed away on the edge of the 6-yard box pretty emphatically, and Sawyers will be able to work it forward towards young Davis up front. Davis taking a touch infield, but a touch too many. Lost possession, but he was judged to have been fouled. And the free kick has gone Cardiff's way, midway between the halfway line and the edge of their own box. 12 gone 0-0.
Yeah, really good play there by Davis. I mentioned earlier that in games like this, when you are that sort of underdog, starved of a bit of possession, you as a lone centre forward, you've got a lot of hard work to do, unselfish hard work, and hold up play if possible.
There's Somerville back in possession for the first time since that injury. His ball didn't find its target. Sang trying to bring it away, but Nonto has done very well to win possession back from him. And Somerville, I thought, might have conceded the throw. It's been given his way, right in front of the Cardiff technical area, where Mark Harris is patrolling, a man who replaced Steve Morrison in September, who's given the job on a full-time basis in November after 7 or 8 weeks in charge on an interim basis prior to that. But he hasn't been able to make Cardiff any more prolific since then. JB has it, edge of the penalty area. Oh, he asked a lot of Somerville with a first-time ball that he fired out to the left and about 6-7 foot up in the air. Somerville, probably the shortest man on the field, stuck out a right leg trying to bring it under control, but it just bounced past him and out of play. And Somerville turns and makes the point that a ball into feet would have been much more effective there. Cardiff have a throw in their right back position. Still Bristol City 1, Swansea 1, Derby 3, Barnsley 0, and goalless in all of the other 2 o'clock kickoffs here on Talksport. You're listening to Cardiff against Leeds in the FA Cup with Carling. We're made by our mates. 18 plus. Please drink responsibly.
Yeah, Cardiff will be quite pleased. This game settled down a little bit from those initial interchanges where Leeds basically dominated territory and possession, and Cardiff looked very subservient to their play. They seem to have come into the game a little bit more and had a few spells of possession themselves.
Sang taking the throw into the feet of Sawyers and straight back again to Sang, but past him and out of play for a throw that will now be taken by Leeds. Hasn't had too many opportunities to shine. Tom Sang, former Manchester United trainee who has occasionally played as a 10, but more often as a right back or as a right wing back. Here's Strauch, played down towards Somerville. And Somerville trying to test Sang again. Harris came back to double up. JB picks up the loose ball in the midfield for Leeds. He finds Somerville. Somerville with a clever little reverse pass now to Gelhardt on the left-hand side of the area. Nonto then lays it back. JB trying to get it out from underneath his feet. Got into a shooting position. Really well blocked by the retreating Simpson, who puts it behind for a corner.
Yeah, JB done really well there. Ball ended up at his feet on the edge of the box, and he was right on top of the ball. Couldn't get the ball out of his feet, so he was almost forced to enter into a sort of dribble at close quarters, and he went past 2 or 3 players before his shot was blocked.
Well, Leeds in no hurry to take the corner because they need a ball to do so with. And the match ball ended up in that stand away to our left-hand side. The Cardiff fans in the Canton end just throwing it amongst themselves for a good few seconds. Now it comes in deep from Greenwood, and it's bounced once and straight out of play. And the set-piece delivery from both sides has been sorely lacking in the opening 15 minutes.
Well, more importantly, people didn't get on the end of it. That was slightly overhit, but you still expect someone to come in and shut the back door off and make sure that ball doesn't go out. Same at the other end when Cardiff had one, similar type of thing. Decent ball across the 6-yard box, but nobody got on the end of it, straight out of play.
It's Cardiff side that haven't won in 7. A Leeds side that haven't won in 5, but as I mentioned earlier, November the 5th, the last day that either of these sides won. Cardiff victorious at Sunderland and Leeds beating Bournemouth in a 7-goal thriller that day. Good strong run down the Cardiff left. Philogene for Ojo, down towards the corner flag, and it's cleared well by JB into Ojo and over the line and out of play for a goal kick that Joel Robles will take.
Yeah, JB showed his intent going forward, and a couple of decent dribbles and a decent shot, and on that occasion put the afterburners on just to break up an attack from Cardiff that was well worked.
Welcome as well to our listeners in the United States and Canada this morning on our partner station Sirius XM FC. Enjoying all of Talksport's FA Cup coverage for you over the course of the whole weekend. More of it later. Manchester City against Chelsea. Tomorrow night, Arsenal go to Oxford. And we've got it all covered for you on the Talksport network. JB has possession. It's only his second start. He also started the League Cup defeat at Wolves. Christensen worked down the right-hand side of the box. Simpson shepherds it out of play past the run of Aronson, who Leeds haven't really been able to get into the game so far. And it's out for a goal kick that'll be taken by Jack Annex. 17 minutes gone now. The goalkeeper's had a save to make. A shot from JB that flashed narrowly wide, but plenty of shadow boxing. Not a lot else in the early stages here.
No clear-cut chances at the moment. A few interactions around the box that have not appeared to open the goal up in Cardiff's respect, but I think Aronson might be on for a crossfield pass. We've seen it hit once. I think it was from Llorente earlier, a diagonal pass from just inside his own half, which Bagan got horribly wrong but got away with it on a miscontrol.
Strouk just lets the ball roll into the centre circle before chipping it wide out to Christensen. Aronson making a run ahead of him, but Leeds come back out to go forward. Llorente wasn't expecting the return ball from Strouk, who did him no favours there. Ended up being a fight ball as it came back towards him. Philogene slid in and caught him, and it's a Leeds United ball over on the far side. Hartlepool 0, Stoke 1. Ewan Murray putting through his own net. Hartlepool hoping to reach the fourth round for only the 8th time in their history. They did make it there last season when they beat Blackpool in round 3. They've beaten Stoke at this stage of the competition before, back in 2009, but they trail by a goal to nil. The side 52 places above them in the league structure through that Ewan Murray own goal. Strout, the latest, just to stumble on the awkward playing surface. And Davis's eyes lit up for a moment. Joel Robles having to come outside his penalty area all the way to the touchline to flick the ball past Harrison out of play. Throw taken quickly by Rinamotta into the feet of Harris. Didn't give him any chance with the return ball. It's half clear, but brought forward now by Davis on the far side of the penalty area. He tried to find Philogene, the youngster on loan from Aston Villa, and Leeds United again forced to hurriedly clear their lines. And Cardiff, after that shaky start where they couldn't really string passes together, slowly finding their feet here.
I've got to say, most you read programmes when you go around the grounds and they talk about the 12th man being the fans. The 12th man for Cardiff on that occasion was the ball boy. Brilliant interaction from him.
Yeah, good awareness and good knowledge of the offside law as well. Here's Aronson. Aronson towards the edge of the penalty area for Somerville. Somerville onto his right foot, had a shot blocked immediately in front of him by Sang. Now to come back for JB. JB chipping it forward. That one headed away relatively easily at the back by Bagan, the Irishman who's back from injury today. Another chance for Leeds to deliver. Finds Somerville and it's over the bar. Well, he wasn't expecting it to come to him. It was missed right in front of him by a Cardiff City defender. I think it was Harris that didn't get the touch that was anticipated. Somerville then snatched at it, but leaning back, couldn't keep his effort down.
Yeah, as I say, I think it was a really bad, I think it was Sang actually, bad miscontrol, slipped under his foot, and just took the, Somerville took the shot first time out, and he done well taking it, but just couldn't keep it down.
Those Leeds United fans that you can hear, they've only seen their side win once away from home all season, which was a shock Premier League success at Anfield against Liverpool, where they were so impressive that day, but they've lost 6 out of 9 away from home over the course of the campaign in all competitions, and that's left them a couple of points above the relegation zone with a game in hand. Cardiff, for their part, 2 points above the relegation zone in the Championship, and nervously looking over their shoulder. They haven't been in the third tier of English football for 20 years, but there are many that anticipate that they've got a lot of work to do to ensure that that is still the case this time next season. Rinamotta getting it away, helped further forward by Shea Ojo. And he was caught, and it's a free kick which will be taken by Cardiff in the heart of the midfield. Ojo playing at 10. I don't think that was the original plan today. They were going to play Colwell in there, but he pulled out through illness. So Philogene came in, and he's playing in his customary wider position, and Ojo's moved into the number 10 role as a result of that. Strout heads the ball forward, and then Rinomhota has given a free kick away. It's quite stop-start at the moment. We're midway through the first half, and it is still 0-0 here on Talksport and across North America on Sirius XM-FC.
Yeah, Leeds had plenty of territory so far, but they failed to find that cutting pass that's going to put someone in, or that telling dribble that's going to go past someone and open the goal up at present.
And Joe Gelhardt leading the line is certainly starved of service up to this point. You're listening to FA Cup Game Day on Talksport. Don't forget, after us, Adrian Durham and the team will bring you Manchester City against Chelsea. Over on Talksport 2, live Gallagher Premiership action between Harlequins and Sale Sharks. And at 7 tonight, Alex Crook, Darren Ambrose and Bayo Akinfenwa open the boot room as they review all of the weekend's action. As I mentioned earlier, it's an FA Cup third round weekend where we're guaranteed to lose 8 Premier League sides. It could end up being 10. What will go this weekend is the Wolves-Liverpool replay, which will be live on Talksport to come in about 10 days' time or so. Cardiff trying to work it forward here. Oh, Strouk has lost his man. Harris with an effort that's blocked. He's pulled it back. Davis can't tap it in. But Philogene is there to side-foot the ball into the net. And Cardiff lead Leeds by a goal to 0. And it's been scored by the man that wouldn't have been playing had Ruben Colwell not pulled out through illness only about 2 hours before the game started. Leeds making a right mess of it at the back. Strout caught wrong side. Harris with the initial effort that was blocked, but in making the save, Joel Robles was in a wide position, and the goal was by and large unguarded after that. Harris with an effort that was blocked. Davis in there as well, and Philogene there to side foot in. The shot could be on. Cardiff 1, Leeds 0.
Well, as Lorente did earlier, or was it Stroik, give the ball away cheaply that cost a corner. On that occasion, it was a really loose piece of play. Good movement, I've got to say, by Cardiff in the front line that stayed on side, and any balls that have been slid down the side so far in this game have called Leeds a bit of a problem. And it was Stroik actually that ended up waiting for his goalkeeper to come and bail him out. That wasn't happening. The goalkeeper was nowhere near it, and all of a sudden, great play once the first shot was blocked. And from then on, really composed play by Cardiff. This game's opened up, and the fans are certainly giving Leeds fans a bit of encouragement now.
Jayden Philogene on loan from Aston Villa, his third goal for Cardiff. And it's one that gives Leeds fans a familiar story, behind to lower division opposition in an FA Cup tie. But Leeds will certainly feel that they've been the better side in the opening 25 minutes of this encounter. And they're on the front foot again straight away. Nonto involved. Firpo flashing in a cross inside the penalty area. And Philogene, the goal scorer, is there to knock it away. And out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Leeds United left. From a neutral's perspective, is exactly what the game needed. Cardiff in a position now that they can try and sit back and soak up the pressure. Leeds will come out at them. Here's Llorente to his left-hand side for Strout. Is Leeds United's Cardiff bogey going to strike again? Sawyers. Back for Bagan, long ball from him. Philogene the target, easily headed away by Llorente. Brought down in the midfield by JB. JB turning, trying to get away from Andy Rinomhota, and he's done well. Firpo in close support, he needed him there. Firpo side foots it forward for Somerville. And forward it comes towards halfway, where Llorente will drive it forward. Headed down by Sang, but out of the Leeds United left. Nonto able to pick it up, and the young Italian running inside the penalty area. Oh, he's got past Sang, who shoved him to the ground, and he's going to get booked for diving.
Really good decision. I've only seen it once, don't need to see a replay. I think that was a really good decision by the referee. Jesse Marsh doesn't agree with it down there, but I think once he sees a replay. Well,
Neil Sang Sorry, that's old habits dying hard. Neil Sang, Tom played for Torquay. His son, Tom Sang, is the right back, and it was he that went shoulder to shoulder with Nonto, who just got past him. And we're seeing the replay now. He went to ground really easily. Sang putting his arm up straight away as if to say, no chance. And Jarrod Gillett, the referee, agreed. Nonto in the book, yellow card for diving. Not the penalty that Leeds United wanted. Strouk heads the ball down towards the touchline for Sang, who gets past the challenge of Somerville, runs out of room. It's out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the Leeds United left. So Cardiff leading Leeds by a goal to nil. All over at Ashton Gate, Bristol City, Swansea, Ian Abrahams.
Bristol City 1, Swansea 1 like in October here. Swansea ahead, Joel Pirro tapped in from 8 yards out. Bristol City equalised. Antoine Semenya headed in 15 minutes from the end. They'll do it all again in South Wales next Tuesday. Finish Bristol City 1, Swansea 1.
And another yellow card is shown here at the Cardiff City Stadium. Pascal Strouk this time, after being caught. And he's had 5-6 minutes that he very much like to forget. At fault for the goal. And diving into a challenge there. Yellow card for him. And Cardiff have their tails up now that they have the lead.
Yeah, they certainly have. I think after the first 15 minutes or so, they've had a few spells of possession football, which they've grown into the game slightly. Turning Leeds down in this inside right channel has thrown the odd problem up for Leeds, and certainly that's where the goal come from. And I think if Leeds going to get something out of this game, they're going to look for this crossfield pass to Christensen, who's got advanced really well in a lot of space.
Cardiff take the free kick square. Ojo back for Bagan. He fires it forward, but Nelson offside, the centre half. Too far forward, and the free kick will be taken by Leeds in their left back position. 28 minutes gone. Cardiff 1, Leeds 0. Back to Carrow Road. Ian Stringer.
Into the 29th minute, remains Norwich 0, Blackburn 0. Since you were last with us, best chance fell to Norwich. Former Blackburn man Grant Hanley with a header from a corner, well saved by goalkeeper Pears. Norwich 0, Blackburn 0.
So goalless there. Bristol City Swansea finished 1-1, as you've just heard. Derby through as well. They beat Barnsley by 3 goals to nil. Half time at Fir Park in the Scottish Premiership. Motherwell 0, Hibs 1, with Kevin Nisbet scoring there. Cardiff 1, Leeds 0 here. Stoke leading at Hartlepool 1-0. And it's also goalless at Edgeley Park between Stockport and Walsall. Two sides in mid-table in League 2, but one of them's going to be through to the last 32 of the FA Cup. And the draw for that fourth round follows this game and precedes Manchester City against Chelsea. We've got it all for you here on Talksport. Curtis Nelson comes across and sweeps up. Clears for Cardiff. Out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the Leeds United left by Junior Firpo. Former Barcelona man who made his name with Real Betis. He's nicked 2 or 3 yards here, maybe a few more than that by the time he eventually throws it in towards Joe Gelhardt. But the man affectionately known as Joffy can't get a touch on that. Cardiff clear, and then win a throw after good play by Davis, who's flicked it off Strouk under pressure. And Cardiff venture to the halfway line and have a throw. 30 minutes behind us, and on the 20-minute mark, I didn't anticipate I'd be saying it was Cardiff 1, Leeds 0.
No, and Jesse Marsh is a little bit more animated down there at the moment. Obviously the words of the board of directors discreetly suggesting that he needed to win this game.
It is his first FA Cup tie, sorry Stuart, and it was an interesting comment. As you mentioned to Adrian in the build-up, it was good in a way that he came clean about exactly what he had been told, that the FA Cup had to be more of a priority now than it has been in the recent past after that succession of third-round eliminations. Rinomota chipping it over the top, could be in again, they are in again! Shea Ojo! And it's 2 in 7 minutes, and Cardiff have given Leeds a mountain to climb. Another shock on the cards. It's taken 20 years for these sides to be drawn together in the FA Cup again. But lightning might be striking twice. Cardiff 2, Leeds 0.
Yeah, really good ball into the box there. Great. Ojo done brilliantly. Just cut across the line. Kept onside, just looking at a replay on this one, and a great ball into the box. Leeds defender, I think Lorente just got a slight head onto it, but Ojo just took it down on his chest and on the swivel put it in the back of the net. 2-0.
Big problems for Leeds United. half an hour gone. Cardiff 2, Leeds 0, and the deadlock broken at Carrow Road. Ian Stringer.
Norwich 0, Blackburn 1. Vale with the goal, but it's an error from Norwich goalkeeper Tim Krul. He played it to Hanley. Hanley, in fairness, it was probably too short. Back to Krul from Hanley. They both got to share the responsibility for this one regardless. Blackburn were in. It was squared up to Vale. He knocked it in from 10 yards. Norwich 0, Blackburn 1.
So 1-0 Blackburn lead there. 2-0 Cardiff lead Leeds here. Philogene and Ojo, the goal scorers. Somerville pushed by Harris. Back it goes for Strauch. Strauch to Llorente. This, make no bones about it, a massive test of Leeds United character here. They've got players on the field that played in the World Cup, and they have made changes, but it's not a completely scratched Leeds United side that Jesse Marsh is fielding. And they've conceded twice in 8 minutes to a side who've only scored 10 goals in 14 matches here this season.
Well, certainly every time they've gone forward, Cardiff, and put the ball behind the Leeds back line, Leeds have looked very, very flaky in what they've done.
What is it? A lack of understanding between the men that are there, individual errors, because Strauch and Llorente both extremely experienced at Premier League level.
Well, it's that old one, you're going away to a lower league team. If you're not at it mentally, and Strauch looked behind him, a couple of times the ball's gone behind him.
And Sverpo chips inside the area, but Ojo clears.
And his first thought process is, well, who's got that? Is it the goalkeepers? And that split second of indecision has been costly, certainly for the first goal.
Well, Ilan Meslier, the first choice goalkeeper, not involved today at all. Given the day off, not in the 20 for Leeds United. Klassen, the substitute goalkeeper, and Joel Robles starting, a man that has won the FA Cup in his past. He's reached a semi-final with Everton as well, since he was victorious with Wigan 10 years ago. But a patent lack of understanding between Joel Robles and the two centre-halves in front of him at times today. Nelson heads the ball away for Cardiff, who lead by 2-0 against the side 14th in the Premier League. Cardiff in the bottom 5 of the Championship. And on the front foot here with Ojo. Ojo trying to help it down the line for the run of Bagan, but that'll be easily cleared by Christensen. Bagan left his foot in once the ball had gone, and that might well be a yellow card as well. It's the 4th that Jared Gillett has shown in this game. Bagan cautioned in the book along with teammates Sang, Monto and Strauch. Also booked for Leeds, and Christensen might need a bit of treatment here.
Yeah, he certainly took a touch, Christensen, then, and I'm looking at Bagan, I'm thinking, go on, get after the ball, get there a little bit quicker. He's decided not to go on the first one, and then when he's took a touch, he's decided to go after it. That's left him a couple of split seconds behind and made him late for the challenge. I think it's more the follow-through that's caught him rather than the initial challenge.
There's not much of a run-off off the side of the pitch here at the Cardiff City Stadium as well, particularly on the far side. So if you lose your balance or are a victim of quite a heavy challenge, there's a chance that you're going to end up in the advertising. Now, Christensen is okay. He's going to be able to continue. Strauch bringing the ball forward for Leeds here, who trail by 2-0. Is it going to be another South Wales FA Cup exit? Had one a few years ago, the hands of Newport. One of the great Newport days in the FA Cup under Mike Flynn. And Flynn now in charge of Walsall, who are 0-0 at Stockport in the 3rd round as we speak. Leeds work it forward long, but it's gone straight through to Jack Annick, the Cardiff City goalkeeper, who's barely had a save to make so far for all the Leeds United possession that we've seen. And they've had the advantage. It's 70-30 in terms of possession, but they haven't had a shot on target with that 70%. And Cardiff have had 4 shots, and all of them have been on target, and 2 of them have gone in. Cardiff win a free kick. Marina Motta, and then taking evasive action once the free kick had been taken, because Sawyer's drilling it down towards the right-hand side, almost hit his teammate. And Cardiff concede a throw, which they wanted to take quickly, Leeds United, and it was that was prevented from happening by Harris, who, once the ball had run over the line, kicked it out and kicked it further into the stand. Strauch down towards the Leeds left for Firpo. Not the best return ball. Strauch under pressure, finds Llorente. He finds his compatriot Robles, and Long clearance from him. Nonto in there battling. Nelson, a much greater physical presence, was able to win it comfortably. Played through the midfield by Greenwood to Strauch. Now Llorente with every outfield player ahead of him as he picks up possession, trying to work it between the lines for Nonto. A few murmurs of discontent from the Leeds fans as that was given away. Cardiff had an opportunity to try and work it forward quickly. They had a man over on the far side there left, but couldn't find him. They will get it out there now. Nelson finding Bagan, but Leeds have got their shake back behind the ball. Leeds trailing by 2-0. Here's Sang. Letting the ball bounce in front of him. Gets a cry of man on. And maybe a little bit fortunate to have won the throw. Nonto thought he played it off Sang. Well, the assistant referee, I think, got it right. It's a Cardiff ball. And a throw which will be taken right in front of us. We're situated about midway inside the half that Cardiff are attacking in this first half. Sang's throw to Sawyers. Back for Sang again. Gets to the byline. Decent ball in towards the corner of the 6-yard box. Llorente tracking the run of Davis. Knocked it away. Davis wins the seconds though. Sawyers out of the left for Bagan. Bagan's 30 yards out, tries his luck and will immediately wish he hadn't. He's just volleyed it straight into the Leeds United fans. 7 at the break, Cardiff 2, Leeds 0 on Talksport.
Yeah, about 25 minutes ago I said this game is one of those that both teams look as though they're comfortable in possession, but it's which one wants to defend that little bit better than the other might end up being the victor. And at this moment in time, it's fair to say that Leeds don't look as though they relish doing the defensive side of it. They want to come here to play, and you've got to do both sides of the game.
Somerville trying to get away from Rinamotta. Somerville ends up on the deck, no foul. Might have been a foul then from Rinamotta on JB. But the youngster had a great start to the game, but has not seen so much of it since. Did well to maintain possession and fire it wide for Christensen. Christensen then battling and winning that battle with Philogene, who then comes back and in blocking the cross concedes the corner, which is Leeds' 4th of the game.
Yeah, as I say, Leeds have been rocked here, 2-0 down, typical FA Cup game. Cardiff just needed probably 10-12 minutes to get into the game and play their way in, and Leeds given the opportunity to do that.
Leeds have 6 forward inside the penalty area for this corner. Greenwood's going to take it. Centre halves are the deepest of the 6. Llorente making running towards the near post. Space in behind him for Strauch, but it was headed over the bar by one of the Leeds men coming to meet him. Might have been Nonto that got the touch on that. And it's gone out of play for a goal kick that will be taken by Jack Anick and Cardiff. Anick, who signed from St Mirren in the summer, he made his debut against Portsmouth in the League Cup in August, but hasn't played since. A few Premier League appearances for Newcastle back in the day, early in his career. But this cup tie's going much better than Anick's debut did, where Portsmouth came here and won 3-0 in a League Cup tie, upsetting the league positions and the odds, and Cardiff doing likewise today against Leeds. Ball kept in by Somerville. No, not quite, but it is a Leeds throw just inside their own half. Jesse Marsh is cutting an animated figure on the edge of the technical area. Gelhardt, that's a good ball forward. Aronson could be in. Anick out really quickly, made sure he wasn't. Slid it clear, swept up beautifully.
I'll tell you what, Anick done brilliantly there. That through ball for Aronson just behind, for all intents and purposes, I thought he was in on goal until Anick arrived just in the nick of time.
Stroud then comes across and concedes another throw. Everybody on the Cardiff bench applauding. Mark Hudson and his coaches Tom Ramosett and Dean Whitehead liking what they're seeing after a slow start to the game where Leeds were dominant in the first 15 minutes, but it's Cardiff that have the lead. Oh, what a fillip it could be for their season.
I think it's important that they get to half-time if they want to get something out of this game. Cardiff getting to half-time with a 0 against you is a massive step forward.
Nonto trying to stop that happening. Ball in towards the near post, headed away. Another corner. Leeds 5th, beginning to mount up. 5 minutes to go to half-time. Philogene on 23 minutes. Ojo on 31. Cardiff 2, Leeds 0. The electronic scoreboard away to our left-hand side is proudly emblazoned with. Beginning to brighten up here in South Wales now. The rain has stopped. Greenwood, after the corner was taken short, knocks it in very deep, and it comes out. He elects to punch it clear when he might have been able to catch it, and that means that Simpson down by the corner flag has to play it, stop it going out of play for a corner. He's got it upfield, but it's curved out of play for a throw, which will be taken by Leeds up towards the edge of the Cardiff penalty area. 3 minutes for them to try and halve the deficit at the very least before the break. JB for Junior Firpo, wearing black gloves on a chilly afternoon. Llorente to Strauch. Strauch inside the Cardiff half of the centre circle as he leans back and chips one out towards Somerville. Had to backpedal very quickly because he's only about 5'4". He did get his head to it to bring it down. Firpo then lost the fight ball against Sang, who's come into the game the more it's gone on, the Cardiff right back, and it ends up going into his hands and out of play for a throw, which will be taken by Cardiff. And Mark Hudson clearly will be the happier of the two managers with the scoreline and with many elements of the performance as well.
Yeah, he will be, and probably the biggest plus they've had, Cardiff, like they showed just then, Davis, and they're showing now. Davis chasing lost causes, hurrying defenders, and the goalkeeper obviously coming out of his box, and the panic on him because Davis has just chased a lost cause, and that's what they've done very well today.
He's a product of the academy, Isaac Davis. He only made his comeback from injury 10 days ago, a Welsh under-21 international who's making his first start since April today. And he only cuts the diminutive figure. He's, 5'8", 5'9", something like that. But he's lively, puts himself about. And Llorente and Strauch know they're in a battle. Harris has done likewise down this flank. And he's won a throw, which Sang will come across to take. Retrieves the ball from a ball boy. That same ball boy that created a chance for Cardiff about 10-15 minutes or so ago with a good quick thinking and returning the ball to Sang for a quick throw. Cardiff trying to get the ball inside the area. That's awkward off Strauch, but it was a complete miss hit. So Joel Robles able to come out and catch it. It wasn't a back pass, and he will then bowl it out, and Leeds will get going again. Fir Parker, second for Kevin Nisbet, and Lee Johnson's Hibs lead 2-0 at Motherwell. Darko JB, as we go into the closing moments of the first half, plays it now for Junior Firpo. Firpo's ball into Nonto. JB again. JB for Somerville. Somerville back for Wilfred Nonto, Italy's youngest ever international goal scorer. Player that leads signed from Zurich. Back for JB. Now down towards Firpo. Trying to roll it down the side of Sang for Somerville's run, but it's cleared. Headed down then by Strauch through the midfield, but only to Sawyers. And played intelligently by Bagan forward for the score of the second Cardiff goal. Ojo, here's the score of the first goal. Philogene, a lovely turn coming in off that left-hand flank, and it's a brilliant reverse ball back for Shea Ojo, the former Liverpool man, controlling it on the left-hand touchline for Cardiff, down by the corner flag. All the tricks as he threatened to play it one way and then flicked it the other. Back for Philogene. Now Curtis Nelson, one player in this team who featured in the last Cardiff side to beat Leeds United. Sawyers to Harris. Back for Rinomhota. 3 minutes of added time at the end of the first half as Sang tries to get the ball in, and it's blocked by Firpo and comes out of play for a throw. Cardiff 2, Leeds 0 on Talksport. Here's Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, as I say, some really top quality play on occasion by Cardiff there. Good interaction. Ojo foraging down the left hand side and switch of play out to Sang on this side. And they've really grown into the game. Obviously, a 2-goal buffer has certainly helped them.
Manchester City, Chelsea to come. Cardiff leading Leeds 2-0. The shot very much on as we approach half-time. Rinomhota's offside. And it's going to be a free kick that will be taken by Joel Robles. And they have lost 3 of the last 5 games at Leeds. They've only won 2 of their last 15 in all competitions. Strauch to JB. They certainly know that they've got goals in the Arsenal, though. Haven't struggled for those. Hitting at about a goal and a half a game in the Premier League so far this season. Cardiff are batting at under a goal a game in the Championship, but it is the Bluebirds that have found 2 today. And it is a Cardiff side, bears repeating, without Atete and Romeo through injury, without Robinson and White and Kipre and Colwell through illness today. It's a Cardiff side under a FIFA transfer embargo as well. And just having to make do with loans and scraps in the transfer market. But they lead, Premier League leads, by 2-0. Sang taking the throw down the line. Firpo beating Harris in the air. Llorente chips it forward. Nonto chasing after it. Experienced Nelson is there. Then Sawyers, another with huge amount of miles on the clock, does well, works it through the midfield. Davis chasing after it. Harris heading it on. Davis will try and get in between the two Leeds centre halves. Almost ended up tackling each other. Davis ended up as the meat in the sandwich, and Leeds smuggle it back for Joel Robles. But Llorente-Strout partnership is error-strewn.
It certainly is, because they've been put under pressure by Cardiff players, namely Davis, but certainly Ojo as well, and Harris. They chase everything. They're chasing lost causes. Anything goes behind Leeds' back line, it's almost, a second look from a Leeds defender saying, well, who's going to deal with this? Well, I'm afraid you've got to deal with it. If not, you're encouraging the opposition to chase it.
JB, high up and under. Bounces onto the head of Simpson, the former Bournemouth and Rangers defender. Ojo, scrapping. Bagan then fires it forward. Philogene chasing after it. Llorente puts his head in and nods it clear. Forward it comes from Greenwood. Strong challenge from Bagan. A little bit too strong for the ref's liking. It's fouled Christensen. And it's Gelhardt, I beg your pardon, that he's fouled. And Gelhardt helped to his feet by Christensen. It's a free kick for Leeds right at the end of the first half. And this, as a little bit of blue sky emerges, will be the last chance for Leeds to get themselves back within a goal before the break.
Yeah, I certainly think, with the words of the chairman ringing in his ears, that maybe the odd change or two will occur at half-time. They need to have instant reaction if they don't get a goal before half-time, Leeds.
Rodrigo and Harrison amongst those waiting on the bench. In comes this free kick over Stroud. Going to be picked up by Christensen. But his is the last touch of the first half. And it's a big ovation from the Cardiff fans as the team leaves the field. And more than a few isolated boos from the travelling Yorkshiremen away to our right-hand side. Leeds with a really good start, nothing to show for it, and Cardiff hit them twice in an 8-minute spell. The shock is on in South Wales. Half-time, Cardiff City 2, Leeds United 0.
Well, Stuart Pearce, answer me a question. How are Cardiff City in a relegation battle in the Championship when you watch that first 45 minutes there?
Aid, I'm just pleased your question wasn't about VAR again, because we flunked that one earlier. Well, what they've done, they've defended manfully, they've got a really good shape about them, and they've popped the ball in behind Leeds and caused untold problems for Leeds, namely Stroik, but certainly one or two of the other defenders, maybe Llorente as well. I don't think they want to do the hard yards and the dirty work, and all that's doing is encouraging the likes of Davis and Harris and Ojo just to chase them down, and they look very shaky with the balls in behind them.
You kind of alluded to it in commentary, but it actually looks, when you look at both goals, and we can talk about the qualities from a Cardiff point of view very shortly, but it looks to me like Leeds don't actually want to defend.
Well, it was evident early on with both teams that they looked more happy in possession than out of possession, but Cardiff have got something to hang on to now, and Leeds certainly, I think they've gone through the motions. The game in the first 10 minutes looked very comfortable for them, and it looked to the eye as though this could be a comfortable afternoon's work. Then all of a sudden Cardiff grew into the game a little bit, and all of a sudden, just by popping the ball over the back of Leeds' back line, has caused big problems.
Well, the first goal from Philogene is a mess from a Leeds point of view. The second goal from Shea Ojo, let's have a look at the ball in. Actually, before that, Shea Ojo's run is perfectly timed. The ball in is takedown and shot. That's real high quality football, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. The important thing was the run, to stay onside. So he's run across the line instead of directly in behind the line, which has kept him onside. And as soon as the ball was played, and I think it was Llorente or Stroy, I can't remember who, was at full stretch, all they could do was help it on. And at that stage, you think, don't have a swing at it, be composed. And that's exactly what he done, Aid. Balled it down on his chest, swivelled and hit it in that sort of almost one motion.
Can I suggest a turning point in this game? Because I thought Leeds did look fairly comfortable in the first few minutes, as you just said. when Tom Sang, the Cardiff player, only gets a booking for the foul on Somerville, I know in commentary you were saying, yeah, that's about right. Certainly didn't think it was a red. The Leeds, the bench certainly thought it was a horror tackle. I don't know, is that a turning point? Did that sort of rock Leeds a little bit?
I think what it done, it put a statement of intent down that says, look, we're not here to be rolled over as such from Cardiff's point of view. And when you play against anyone from the league above you or on paper, man for man, better players than you are, you've got to outrun them, you've got to try and outmuscle them and be more physical than they are and put them off their game. And by making challenges, and it wasn't far short of being a very, very good challenge, let's be honest.
Yeah, I think listening to how you described it and your summary of it, I think a yellow, you persuaded me a yellow was about right. Anyway, Willie Gnonto is going to be a terrific player. He's already a very good player, but he's only 19. He's dived in the box for no reason. You've got people in the box waiting for a ball across, a chance for Leeds to score, and he's dived. And now somebody has to take him to one side and explain there's no point in doing that. Rather get the ball in the box and score a goal, yeah?
Well, exactly that. I thought he'd done really well, drove into the box, dropped his shoulder. He's gone to take Sang on, and credit to the fullback, he's pulled his feet away and said, I'm not getting involved in this, you know what I mean? And by pulling his feet away, Gnonto's ended up going to ground too cheaply. He'd have been better off staying on his feet and delivering a cross or a shot.
Leeds have had more of the ball. The possession stats 68% for Leeds United. For a Premier League side, albeit bottom half of the Premier League, but for a Premier League side to have that much ball and do very little with it, Cardiff haven't looked too troubled. That means there's got to be a big speech from Jesse Marsch in the dressing room at half-time.
Well, it's a big speech and potentially substitutes. There's I'm not sure who it is at the moment. I've not got a number on my eye line, but there's certainly a solid warm-up coming on, so Leeds will be making at least one change. And
well, Rodrigo and Harrison are on the bench. You'd expect them to come on. They're going to make it, or they might make a difference.
Yeah, we think it's Harrison actually, but certainly they're looking for impact, and Jesse Marsch will be looking for something in the first 10 or 15 minutes. If not, and it stays nil to Leeds, I think Cardiff will just grow into this game and just sit back like they have done, and it's been very comfortable for them.
But you know what, Stuart, this is the FA Cup, isn't it? We've seen some cracking third round ties already, some real surprises. Fleetwood beating QPR, Sheffield Wednesday beating Newcastle, Chesterfield going so close to beating West Bromwich Albion, Wrexham winning 4-3 at Coventry. We've seen some brilliant third round ties and some shocks, and this looks set to be another one.
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, we spoke pre-game about Leeds coming out the hat away at Cardiff and the implications of that. Not a pleasant tie to be rewarded for in the third round of the FA Cup, make no mistake. And as it stands at the moment, it looks a horrific draw for Leeds.
Certainly does. Stuart, thank you very much. Back with you for the second half. Cardiff City 2, Leeds United 0, live on Talksport. Second half to come. What can the Premier League sides offer in reply in the second half? Let's find out what's happened in the first half of an all-championship third round tie at Carrow Road. Talksport's Ian Stringer.
Half-time, Norwich 0, Blackburn 1. The goal came in the 39th minute. It fell for Jack Vale, but it's an error at the back for Norwich. He was gone from hero to zero as Grant Hanley. Remember, Hanley used to play for Blackburn. In the 17th, he's almost headed the opening goal for Norwich. A corner, header well saved by the Blackburn goalkeeper Pears. But then in the 39th, he's given the ball short, edge of his own 18-yard box by Krul. The ball's good to his feet, Hanley, but Hanley gives it back to Krul, and it's short. It's not got enough. It's probably a club or two short, and then in running behind is Markande. He steals it in front of Krul, finds Dak, and Dak very sensibly, loads of experience, squares it up and says to 21-year-old Jack Dale, score your second goal of the season. He does and puts it into the bottom corner. No goalkeeper in the net because Krul had already come out to play a 1-2 with Hanley that had gone all wrong. And Blackburn lead 1-0. They had a chance in the 49th minute of this game. We had 4 added on due to a head injury that caused a substitution of Scott Wharton early on in this game. And Brereton Diaz caught the defence flat. The Norwich defence were very high, very flat. He arced his run perfectly. He found himself one-on-one, and somehow he's leant back. It's a very slippy surface. We had a bad storm about 15 minutes ago. He's put the ball over the bar. So Blackburn could be 2 up. Norwich have had chances from distance, a few pot shots that will please new manager David Wagner, but the visitors look good for their half-time lead. Norwich 0, Blackburn 1.
The Norwich fans, any reaction from them being a goal down at half-time?
No, there's been plenty of on-the-ball City. There was lots of cheers and celebratory scarves in the air for David Wagner as he came out, and cameras trained on him and everything. They've been supportive. They've backed him. Obviously, being a former Blackburn man, I think they feel for Grant Hanley, quite frankly, at the back, playing the ball short. It's his fault, the goal, but they're behind him at the minute. But come on, Adrian, he's only had 45 minutes. Give him a bit of a chance.
Indeed, but Norwich are going to have to score 2 because we know it's either win or lose with Blackburn. Draws are not allowed. Ian, thank you very much. Norwich 0, Blackburn 1 at half-time. Elsewhere, Hartlepool 0, Stoke City 2 at half-time. Ewan Murray's own goal. Jacob Brown with the second for Stoke City are in command. Stockport 0, Walsall 0. That's from all the 2 o'clock kickoffs. Earlier, Bristol City 1, Swansea 1. They've got to do it all again. And Derby went through to round 4, beating Barnsley by 3-0. Half-time in our game, live on Talksport. Cardiff 2, Leeds United 0. I can tell you the Leeds United fans are not happy at the Cardiff City Stadium with what they've seen. Join Nat Coombs from 5 today. Talksport 2 as the Buffalo Bills make an emotional return to Orchard Park, New York. In their last match, their safety, Damar Hamlin, suffered a cardiac arrest. Thankfully, he's now up and able to talk to his teammates. The Bills know that a victory may not only give them home field advantage throughout the playoffs, but they could knock out the New England Patriots, who must win to reach the knockout stages of the season. That's the Patriots at the Bills, live on Talksport 2 from 5 p.m. We've got second half coming up from the Cardiff City Stadium, where Cardiff lead Leeds by 2-0.
FA Cup live on Talksport with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Dive into 888 Sport, home of the NFL. Because it's made for the Sunday night drama. It's made for the Sunday night acca. Place an accumulator of 4 legs or more on any of tonight's NFL matches and get money back as a free bet up to £20 if one team lets you down. Available every Sunday with 888 Sport, official partner of the NFL. Made to play. 18 plus, minimum odds apply. For full terms and conditions, visit 888sport.com. BeGambleAware.org.
30 million people around the world are just like me.
I value knowing that my investments are all in order.
I value having low fees so I can keep more of my returns.
And I value that my investment firm has its clients'
best interests at heart.
Join the 30 million investors around the world who value getting Vanguard value.
Took the words
right out of my mouth. Vanguard. Value to investors. When investing, your capital is at risk.
In 1,000 yards, turn left. Or is it right? Maybe go straight on, past the cows. At the roundabout, keep going round and round. Hang on, where are we going again?
Without clear guidance, you can feel a little lost. But when it comes to taking your pension pot, Money Helper's PensionWise service will help you get clear about your options. If you're over 50, our free impartial guidance backed by the government will help you find a way forward.
Ooh, get you, sorting your pension out. Now go straight ahead.
Visit the Money Helper website to book your free PensionWise appointment today.
Buy a used car from Arnold Clark and get an extra £500 on top of your part exchange. We'll even give you 2 years servicing for free. That's what we call the real deal. Choose from 20,000 cars and come nearest store. The real deal is on right now at Arnold Clark. Build your own deal and see our terms and conditions at arnoldclark.com.
FA Cup live on Talksport with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
The biggest and best football on the radio.
On the app, on DAB, on 1089 and 1053 medium wave, and on your smart speaker.
FA Cup Game Day Live.
On Talksport.
So the Cardiff City Stadium half-time, it's Cardiff 2, Leeds 0. Here's the half-time highlights with Carling.
FA Cup half-time highlights on Talksport with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
we're guaranteed to lose at least 8 Premier League sides at this stage of the competition. There's a chance that figure could end up being as high as 10. Harris with an effort that's blocked. He's pulled it back. Davies can't tap it in. But Philogene is there to siphon the ball into the net. And Cardiff lead Leeds by a goal to 0. Rinamotta chipping it over the top. Could be in again. They are in again. Shea Ojo. And it's 2 in 7 minutes, and Cardiff have given Leeds a mountain to climb.
Ojo just took it down on his chest and on the swivel put it in the back of the net. 2-0.
Big problems for Leeds United. Half an hour gone. Cardiff 2, Leeds 0.
And that was all thanks to Carling, the UK's #1 lager, 18+. Please drink responsibly.
FA Cup half-time highlights on Talksport with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18+, please drink responsibly.
Let me tell you, in the Scottish Premiership, Hibs are 2-1 up at Motherwell. Kevin Nisbet with both for Hibs. Stuart McKinstry since halved the deficit for the Motherwell 1, Hibs 2, 1:30 kick-off. Dundee United Rangers is at 4 in the Women's FA Cup third round. Cheltenham through the beaten MK Dons 3-1. And in the FA Cup third round, Bristol City 1, Swansea 1 a result, Derby 3, Barnsley 0 a result, half-times, Hartlepool 0, Stoke 2, Blackburn 1 up at Norwich, Stockport 0, Walsall 0. Villa Stevenage is at 4:30, Stevenage second in League 2 under Steve Evans. And here at the Etihad, Man City, Chelsea at 4:30 kick-off as well. We'll have team news for you in around about half an hour's time from here at the Etihad. And tomorrow night we've got a really cracking cup tie for you. Carl Robinson knows how to get cup upsets done. Has done in his career, got them littered all through his CV. He's in charge of Oxford, who take on Arsenal. FA Cup third round, it's live on Talksport tomorrow, 8 o'clock kickoff. Join me and Danny Murphy and Jim Proudfoot from 6 at the Kassam Stadium. And it's Carabao Cup after that, Tuesday night, Man United Charlton in the quarter-final. Live on Talksport, I'll be there. And on Talksport 2, it'll be Newcastle against Leicester. Wednesday, it's Nottingham Forest against Wolves on Talksport 2. Southampton against Manchester City on Talksport. And the football doesn't stop on the Talksport network. Thursday, Fulham-Chelsea, live and exclusive from the Premier League on Talksport. What a derby that is. Hugh Wisencroft, your host, and it's Hugh again on Friday night for another Talksport exclusive from the Premier League. Aston Villa taking on Leeds before we bring you game day yet again on a Saturday, 11 a.m. Reshman Chowdhury, your host. And what a game we've got on Saturday lunchtime across this city at Old Trafford. It's the derby. Manchester United taking on Manchester City. 12:30 kickoff. Sam Matterface, Stuart Pearce and Mickey Gray will be on commentary duty for that one. Non-stop football across the Talksport network. And that continues now because Leeds have got a huge amount of work to do. They're 2 down at Cardiff. Second half commentary from Stuart Pearce and Jim Proudfoot.
And Strauch has the ball for Leeds. We're just a few seconds into the second half. Leeds in all white, kicking from left to right. And Cardiff defending this 2-0 lead in all blue. They line up like this with no changes made by either team at half-time. Anik in goal, Sang, Nelson, Simpson, Bagan, Sawyers and Rinamotta, Harris, Ojo and Philogene, and Davis. Leeds, Joe Robles in goal, Christensen, Llorente, Strauch and Firpo, Greenwood, Jabi and Somerville, Aronson, Gelhardt and Nonto. It is a Leeds side that have 5 who are under the age of 21 in the starting lineup, but they still haven't done themselves justice so far. They're on the front foot here with Crescencio, Somerville and Nonto trying to get involved and link up. Cardiff get it back, get it away, but almost inevitably Leeds on the front foot again with Somerville. Somerville in a more central role at the start of this second half. Ball played out towards Nonto. Nonto on the edge of the penalty area. Firpo is forward, just trying to flick the ball off into the feet of Aronson. Forward come Leeds again down the left-hand side of the penalty area with JB. And that one's cleared by Harris and then ricochets off Aronson and goes out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken away to our right-hand side by Jack Anik. 90 seconds into the second half. Cardiff 2, Leeds 0. Stuart, are you surprised that there haven't been changes made at half-time by Jesse Marsh?
I'm very surprised, to be quite honest with you. They need an injection of something here at the moment. Well, they're going to need an early goal in this game to inspire Leeds at present. And Leeds look a little bit intent on looking pretty rather than being effective.
Much like yourself. The ball on the left-hand side, knocked away by Llorente. Brought down in the midfield by Christensen, and goes out of play for a throw. They warmed Max Verber up, the Austrian international that arrived just recently from Leipzig. He was warming up quite extensively during the half-time interval. He's a left back, but Firpo continuing for now. And that was one of the areas that Leeds were really struggling at half-time. Aronson's involved here with Romain Sawyers, and the ball goes past a pair of them and then out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Leeds United right. But they need some inspiration, and they need it pretty quickly again. The Leeds bench: Ayling, Mark Rocket, Rodrigo, Harrison, Dramé, Verber, Perkins, and Matteo Joseph, the young Spanish striker. So they've got a few that they can bring on to try and change the game. But they haven't made a start of the second half that would suggest they're really at it on the back of a half-time dressing down. It's more of the same, really, the way that the opening 3 minutes have gone.
It is, and at this moment in time, they're going to have to get a goal, even if it's out of nothing, you know, but they're not putting enough pressure on Cardiff at the moment to force any errors out of them.
Ball from Sang, who's one of 4 players booked in the first half. Loops up off a Leeds player. JB's going to be able to bring it through the midfield. Bagan can get it away from him on the left-hand touchline. Back it comes from Christensen, surviving the handball shout. Gelhardt, the one-time Wigan player, getting involved with Sawyers. Still Gelhardt's got it. Gelhardt into the feet of Nonto. And he goes for Junior Firpo. Back for Woody Nonto again. Nonto with his low centre of gravity running towards the edge of the penalty area. A little layoff to Aronson. Aronson to Christensen. Christensen heading it across the edge of the 6-yard box. It's cleared once and then twice by the Cardiff back line, with Nelson's header an emphatic one that almost reached halfway. And Leeds United have a throw, and they have all the possession at the beginning of the second half without doing anything remotely potent around the edge of Jack Annick's box.
No, we've just seen the difference between the two sides right in front of us just then. GAB come across towards us. He had the opportunity just to turn Cardiff's defence round. He overrun it and ended up getting caught in possession. Cardiff, on the other hand, would have just turned the ball round, put it behind the opposition's defence and chased causes.
Christensen, Greenwood, Aronson, Gelhardt, back for Christensen again, now towards Sam Greenwood wearing 42. Philogene sticks out of foot and brings him down, and it's a Leeds United free kick. 15 yards outside the Cardiff box, over towards the right-hand touchline. Another own goal in that Hartlepool-Stoke game. Hartlepool have got 2 of the 3 today, but trailed 3-0. Menayis putting through his own net. Hartlepool 0, Stoke City 3. Aronson, the United States international, runs over the ball, leaves it for Greenwood. High up and under from him. Christensen at the far post heading it down. Strout laying it back behind Somerville. But Strout can get it again. That's not the worst ball in across the edge of the 6-yard box, and the Leeds fans felt that Gelhardt was just being impeded as he tried to make a run, but no foul by Stevens. And play continues with goalkeeper Annick bowling it out for Rinomhota. It's still Cardiff 2, Leeds United 0 here on Talksport and Sirius XM across North America.
Yeah, I think we're going to see multiple changes for Leeds very shortly. I think the pattern of the game has not changed at all in this second half, and I'm not sure Jesse will stand for that. He needs to have some form of impact in this, I think.
Well, this would be a result that, as well as spelling cup elimination, would put more pressure on Leeds ahead of their next Premier League game, which is away at Villa. You can hear it exclusively on Talksport, 8 o'clock Friday night. Will it be Friday the 13th horror show for Leeds United? And this turning into a horror show in front of us. They trail by 2-0. The driving rain of the first half has been replaced by and large with blue skies now. Bagan for Cardiff with his 2-goal advantage. Here's one of the goal scorers, Jaden Philogene, man on loan from Aston Villa, just losing out to Greenwood. And Greenwood playing it forward and winning a throw, which will be taken on the Leeds United right. Possession in the first half, 70-30, as near as makes no difference in Leeds' favour. They had the majority of opportunities, but just couldn't work Jack Annick at all. And in fact, they're still waiting for their first shot on target of the game. against the side struggling in the bottom 5 of the Championship. That's a frightening statistic.
Yeah, and the real difference between the two sides, Cardiff are happy to turn Leeds' defence around, sliding balls into channels and chasing sort of semi-lost causes on occasion. Leeds are not prepared to do that. They're looking for ways through in areas where there's literally no room whatsoever.
Christensen with a quick throw down the Leeds right. Somerville made the run. Simpson went with him, and it went past Simpson and out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken away to our right-hand side by Jack Annick. Let's find out how the opening exchanges have gone in the second half at Carrow Road. Ian Stringer.
We've had 51 minutes. It remains Norwich 0, Blackburn 1. The 39th minute goal from Vale separates the sides. 2 shots from outside of the box for the home side. Pukki and Hernandez both saved by the goalkeeper, but they're back in it. Norwich 0, Blackburn 1.
Manchester City, Chelsea to come. It kicks off at 4:30. By the time they've started, we'll know who's going to be playing who in the 4th round. That draw also live on Talksport between this game and that between Manchester City and Chelsea. We'll have the team news from there in about 20 minutes' time, incidentally. Sang bringing the ball forward down the Cardiff right. He's played it forward towards Harris, who wins the corner with a low-driven cross. The first corner Cardiff have had in this second half, and indeed only their second of the game. Hartlepool 0, Stoke 3, Norwich 0, Blackburn 1. Earlier Derby beating Barnsley 3-0. Bristol City 1, Swansea 1. Result at Ashton Gate, and they'll do it all again in 10 days' time. Corner taken short, down that Cardiff right-hand side, then hooked in very deep. Good header by Simpson, back, coming round the back at the far post. It's nodded back down for Weston, and a chance for Leeds to bring it away. They don't get it too far clear. JB losing out, and Aronson will chase the ball that's been laid back for Annick, but he's got plenty of time to clear it. Fires it left-footed, but straight over everybody, and out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the Leeds United right. The other FA Cup tie that's taking place right now, Stockport 0, Walsall 0, Villa against Stevenage to come, and updates from that game during the Manchester City-Chelsea match. Nigel Adderley and Dean Ashton, your commentary team, alongside Adrian at the Etihad for a game that starts at 4:30 tomorrow night. It's Oxford-Arsenal on air at 6 on Talksport 2, then from 7 on Talksport. Game kicks off at 8. Tuesday night, it's Carabao Cup quarter-finals. Manchester United, Charlton, and Newcastle, Leicester on 2. Wednesday, Southampton, Manchester City, and Forest Wolves on 2. We've got all 4 of those Carabao Cup quarter-finals for you live on the Talksport network. And Jesse Marsh is cutting quite a disconsolate figure. It's in discussion with coaching staff Reni Maric and Cam Toshak. They're going to be making a change in a moment. Verba will be coming on. Leeds bring it forward here with Nonto. Firpo trying to get onto the loose ball down on the touchline. Sang is there. Harris clears, and then Strout forced to concede possession. Puts it out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Cardiff right. Leeds have a player down injured over on the far side of the penalty area. It's Woody Nonto that is down hurt and in need a bit of treatment. Verba's coming on. Rodrigo's coming on, and Dramé is going to be coming on as well. So there's going to be a triple change for Leeds United presently. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, well, there had to be an impact. We're sort of 10 minutes into the second half, and we've seen no change at all in Leeds' pressure on Cardiff's goal. It's non-existent at this moment in time. I think tactically the problem is that they're trying to play through with short passes through the deep block of Cardiff, and on occasion it's on to just turn the opposition around and go and press them further up the pitch, and they're not prepared to do that. They're trying to play intricate little passes that are not working.
So it's not the fault of the players, that's a tactical misjudgment, you feel, from Jesse Marsh?
No, I think the players are misreading what's needed in the game, more so than what the manager's told them to do. There's certain areas where we've certainly seen it. Cardiff are happy to get the ball in tight areas. If it's tight, they'll play it behind Leeds' defence and go and press it. Leeds are not prepared to do that.
The ball is worked down the Leeds United right-hand side by the Cardiff left-back Bagan. Christensen can turn. The Leeds triple change hasn't happened yet. It will happen in a moment. It's a good ball from Aronson, although it gave Somerville a little bit too much to do. The goalkeeper Anik off his line very quickly, and Nelson used his experience just to go shoulder to shoulder with Somerville and protect the ball for his goalkeeper to come out and on the slide pick it up. With 12 into the second half and no sign of a change in the scoreline. Cardiff 2, Leeds United 0.
Yeah, as I say, first time Leeds have turned and played 2 passes behind the back line of Cardiff, and unfortunate on that occasion not to get on the end of it, just slightly overhit.
Joel Robles taps the ball out to JB and tells him to turn. One of the teenagers in this Leeds United side looked to play to his left-hand side for Junior Firpo, and it was easily read and cut out by Harris. Mark Harris, who scored the winner in the 3rd round last season against Preston. Playing on the right wing today. Here's Philogene. Philogene into a central position. Can he get himself into a shooting position? Lays it off instead to his right. It's Sang. Not quite. And it was knocked away from him on the edge of the penalty area. Now out of play for a throw, and Leeds will make the triple change. Dramé and Verba, both fullbacks, and Rodrigo a forward, the men that are coming on. And the signals come from the Leeds technical area just to continue for now. They're giving final few instructions to the men that are coming on. So Leeds resume play with that throw. Strauch has it. Leeds trailing 2-0 with just over half an hour remaining. Christensen making his way forward, couldn't control the ball. Puts his face in his hands, frustrated at his lack of ability there. I don't know whether he's going to be one of the players being replaced, bearing in mind that Cody Dramé is coming on. They're also warming up Matteo Joseph down in front of us, and now the changes will be made. So Somerville first off, Rodrigo coming on for him. And Somerville, the Dutchman who was a victim of that heavy early challenge and hasn't really had too much of an impact since then. They're also taking off JB and Christensen. So Dramé, Verba and Rodrigo coming on. Christensen, JB and Somerville are the players that are going off. Cardiff will resume with the throw, which will be taken level with the edge of their own penalty area. 59 gone, 2-0 to Cardiff. Headed down from Greenwood in the midfield. And played out towards the left-hand side by Verba. Verba in towards Rodrigo. Shot on the turn, almost getting himself into a decent position with his first touch. Verba then trying his luck from the edge of the D. That one is blocked, but immediately after the changes, signs of life for Leeds.
Yeah, certainly was. Good ball into Rodrigo's feet in the box there. Done really well. Good presence of mind. Ended up setting up the shooting effort from the edge of the box. Well blocked though by Cardiff.
But they come again. Nonto ball in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Nelson can clear. And that one's put out of play. And the Leeds fans have found their voice. And something to latch hold of. They're playing Verba in midfield. Ordinarily a left back in his time with Salzburg and his international career as well with Austria. But just giving him a slightly refined role. Aronson finding Verba, left-footed ball clipped in from him. It's going to be kept in by Cody Dramé, who had a loan spell here at Cardiff. A couple of dozen games for the club. Greenwood takes over, gets to the byline, wins the corner after Shea Ojo slides in, blocks the cross. But there's a different feel about Leeds. In early days, they've only had 90 seconds since making the changes, but just a little bit more tempo and a little bit more belief, potentially. Greenwood to take this corner. Nearly everybody forward. Dramé stayed back. Everybody else is in there to attack it. Greenwood with an outswinging delivery off Nelson's head to the edge of the penalty area. Aronson hooking it on. Bagan with a high clearance that only went about 6 yards further forward. It went about 26 up in the air. Harris gets on the end of that. Davis loses out. Maybe a handball shot against Gelhardt. Play goes on with Aronson. Aronson to the edge of the D. Greenwood takes it into his stride inside the penalty area. Leeds try to halve the deficit with an hour gone. Right-footed ball hooked in by Greenwood, headed away by Sang. brought down on the edge of his own penalty area there by Sawyers. Philogene trying to help it away, can't do so. Leeds come again with Greenwood, and he comes off Bagan and spins out of play for another corner. And you can hear the level of intensity of the Leeds support, which is matching the improvement of their team.
Yeah, certainly the fans behind the goal urging their team on now, and it's important for Cardiff to stem this flow. I think any goal at this stage of the game will certainly give Leeds plenty of time to turn this tie around.
Nonto amongst the bustling inside there, and he's headed just wide. Strout walking onto it, got his forehead to it, but slightly too fine a contact, and he's flashed across the face of goal and just wide of the far post. And that's Leeds' best moment of the game.
Well, great ball into the box, and it was Strout. He just glanced it, and two players coming in behind him, two Leeds players that failed to get a touch on it, and it just missed the far post by literally 5-6 inches.
Still playing at Fir Park in the Scottish Premiership, incidentally. Motherwell 2, Hibs 3. Kevin Nisbet hat-trick. But Ross Tierney's just pulled one back for Motherwell in stoppage time. Cardiff are going to make a change. And Davis gets a good ovation as he comes off. And he's going to be replaced by Ollie Tanner, who'll come on for only his second senior appearance, a 20-year-old attacking midfielder who was playing non-league football for Lewis down in Sussex until recently. I'm led to believe he could be out on loan very soon, possibly to a side in the conference. He might be playing National League next weekend, but he's playing against Leeds United of the Premier League in the FA Cup this weekend. So Tanner on, and he's playing on the left-hand side, on the left wing. And the ball is out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by Joel Robles, and he's really scrambling to pick it up from front of the hoardings and start play as quickly as possible. Kicks it out for Stroud. 2-0 Cardiff leading Leeds here. Walsall have just broken the deadlock at Stockport in the FA Cup. Stockport 0, Walsall 1. Nonto, Firpo down towards the byline, tries to get the cross in, laid back edge of the area by Rodrigo. An opportunity for Verba to try and pass it into the net. That was blocked. Greenwood then has a shot. That's blocked as well on the edge of the penalty area. Aronson playing it down for Dramé. Back for Brendan Aronson again. Aronson through the midfield. Verba picking it up. Measured ball from him to his fellow substitute Dramé. To Greenwood. Verba to the heart of the back line. Llorente, Stroud playing it out towards Nonto. Leeds so much more threatening now and potent, getting inside the penalty area and winning another corner.
Much better from Leeds. Tempo's gone up, balls forward have gone up, and balls in behind the back line have gone up. All of those things are helping them getting on the front foot here.
Corner taken short, and it's headed into the net. Rodrigo. Leeds back in the game, and the whole complexion of the tie will change now. Right in front of those travelling Leeds fans. Corner taken short, flash inside the area, and Rodrigo thumps his header in, his first ever FA Cup goal. And it's Cardiff 2, Leeds 1.
Much better there from Leeds. Switch ball out to Nonto. He forced the corner, and from the corner, great movement, nice quick corner taken. Cardiff not covering themselves in glory there, switched off a little bit, and Rodrigo, the impact sub. We've got a game on now, Jim.
It's his 7th goal in 8 games, his 11th of the season. And now it's a test of Cardiff City's resolve. They've been, by and large, pretty comfortable from the moment they scored until that triple change was made. But it's changed everything. Rodrigo off the bench on the score sheet. 25 minutes for Leeds to rescue or potentially win it.
Yeah, I think they were trying to be too intricate to start with, Leeds. You know, up until probably the substitutions, they would try to play everything in front of Cardiff and it suited them. Now all of a sudden they're getting in behind them and asking questions in behind.
Greenwood, good turn from Rodrigo outside the penalty area, laid off to his left, but Philogene read it. Philogene plays it down to the Cardiff left-hand side, where the clearance down the line from Tanner is blocked by Verba. And every positive contribution from a man in white is being roared by the travelling Leeds fans away to our right-hand side. They feel now that there is a way back into the game, that the game plan is there. It's just a case of successfully executing it over the final quarter of the match. They are playing against the Cardiff side who've only won once here in 7, only twice here in their last 13 games. They have beaten Blackburn and Rotherham in that run, but they've had a fair few defeats. Ball's gone out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Cardiff left-hand side by Bagan. And the Irishman just running a few seconds off the clock, bends down and touches the sock just above his left boot with his left hand, now takes the throw, and now makes his way forward for another Cardiff City throw. It has been such a sensational weekend of FA Cup action. More to come tomorrow with Oxford, Arsenal, Man City against Chelsea later today. He's got a lot to live up to. Remember, after us, the FA Cup draw, then Manchester City against Chelsea, which kicks off at 4:30. And the team news will be out there in about 4 or 5 minutes' time. We'll get it from Nigel Adderley and also from Abigail Davis at Villa against Stevenage, we'll be keeping an eye on. Ball played over the top by Verba. Nonto, ever willing to chase, knew that was going to be a lost cause. It was always likely to scoot off the damp playing surface and away, out of play for a goal kick, but he didn't give it up until the very last moment. It's out of play for a goal kick that Anik will take, and it could be a nervy last 22 minutes here for Cardiff City. 2-1.
Yeah, Leeds need to keep this tempo up. They need to keep playing forward and getting the ball in behind Cardiff's backline, and if they play with the tempo that they've certainly done the last 7 or 8 minutes, they've got every chance of getting themselves back in this tie.
Anik taking the goal kick. Headed away by Strauk. And it goes away to our left-hand side. Joel Robles can pick it up and bowl it out for Llorente. Last FA Cup meeting of these two in 2002. Leeds, top of the Premier League at the time. They lost 2-1 to third-tier Cardiff. First time a side who were top of the top flight and lost to a team from outside the top 2 divisions in the FA Cup since 1971. It was Leeds on that occasion as well, when they had been famously beaten by Colchester. The yellow card is shown there. I think it was a handball in the midfield. Was it Greenwood that has picked up the caution, and it's a Cardiff free kick that they will take on the edge of the centre circle. 2-1 to Cardiff in the last meeting of these two, as a late winner on that occasion from Scott Young. 2-1 to Cardiff this time around as well. And Cardiff doing everything they can to make sure that the ball is in play for as little time as possible. That's completely understandable. Free kick taken now. Bagan down the line for the young substitute Tanner. And out of play for what has been given as a Leeds throw, but judging by the reaction of the Cardiff players and the fans who were well placed, and manager Mark Hudson, it might not have been. Dromae's going to take this throw. Leeds calling Matteo Joseph, the young striker, back to the bench. High ball inside the Leeds box is controlled by goalkeeper Joel Robles. And they'll be able to play out with Strauk. A few birds circling overhead now on what is a more pleasant January afternoon. 2-1, Cardiff lead Leeds, but it's right in the balance. Sang playing it forward. Strauk flicks it away. Chested down by Verba. He's made a difference in the midfield since coming on. Junior Firpo's going to be able to bring the ball forward. He's got plenty of options either side of him. He's gone out to his left, but ball in towards Nonto was misdirected. And he drifts out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken by Anik, and Joseph still receiving his last instructions, so won't bring him on just yet. 20 to go, Cardiff 2, Leeds 1, and here's Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, couldn't work out there what Rodrigo was trying to do. Good play by Leeds, worked down the left-hand side. When they pulled it back to Rodrigo, he really should be looking to flash a ball with his quality into the box. Decided to try and slide one behind the back line on the floor, which no one read.
Clearance from Anik, brought down by Tanner. The biggest game of his young career. Rodrigo flicking it off in the midfield. Played from the centre circle out to the Leeds United left here for Willie Gnonto. Gnonto making his way towards the edge of the box. Philogene went with him every step of the way. Won it back cleanly and then lost it in a tackle. As well, one back over on the Leeds left. Verba linking up and down that left-hand side of the box. Greenwood is waiting for it on the edge of the penalty area if Leeds can get it across to him. It's going to be played down the left-hand side of the penalty area for the run of Aronson, but that one is blocked by Sang. Forward Leeds come again. Half the deficit through Rodrigo on 65. They've had most of the ball in the 7 minutes since the goal, but haven't been able to work Anik again. Gnonto again. Down the left-hand side of the box. Firpo pulling it back. Gelhardt completely missed his kick in a really good position. Dramé might be able to pick it up. Greenwood can pick it up. And he drives it just over the bar.
I've got to say, I'm not sure what Cardiff were doing then. They were breached. Leeds got in behind them, pulled it back. And when they turned the ball over Cardiff on the edge of their own box, they tried to play out. They've almost swapped roles with Leeds in overplaying. And they should have just cleared the ball. They really should.
Leeds will make the change. Matteo Joseph coming on for Gelhardt, whose barren streak now goes to 24 games for the first team. But still a player at the age of only 20 who's got a really good future ahead of him. Not to be in his first FA Cup tie in a Leeds shirt. He had one for Wigan earlier in his career. And Matteo Joseph comes on for his FA Cup debut. The 19-year-old Spanish striker made his Premier League debut as a substitute against Spurs just before the World Cup. Playing a League Cup tie at Wolves as well, but only his third appearance for the Leeds first team today. Wearing 49, he will play through the middle. He's got Rodrigo just off him. And Leeds buoyant now after what has been at times a difficult afternoon for them, but they'll feel that they know what they've got to do. They'll know how they can go about getting themselves back into this game. It's just a question of being able to do it. Joseph dropping off, wanting the ball into feet. It's worked past him instead out towards Gnonto. Gnonto with a low ball right across the deck, trying to find Rodrigo inside the penalty area, and that is cleared. Cardiff are going to make another change. Wintle will come on into their midfield in a moment. One of the players who invariably starts but rotated out of the 11 today. Llorente, 4 for Aronson. Aronson down towards Greenwood. 16 to go. 2-1 Cardiff lead Leeds. Greenwood on the right-hand side of the midfield for Leeds United. Llorente to Strauch. Strauch coming forward, 15 yards outside the box. A little bit closer than that when he laid it out towards Firpo. Firpo off balance and under duress did well just to play it in towards the feet of Gnonto. Aronson can pick it up now. Aronson immediately put under pressure by Rinomhota. But Leeds have kept the ball. Here we come again with Aronson darting one way, then the other, driving in towards the edge of the penalty area, going to ground on the edge of the box and losing possession. Sawyers will try and bring it forward. 3 against 2 on the counter-attack, but they simply couldn't work it, Cardiff. And Llorente mops up and gets it back to his goalkeeper, Robles.
Yeah, just couldn't find the ball to Ojo there. He was clear, he was the one breaking, and just could not find the pass to free him.
So Wintle coming on. O'Dowda will be coming on in a moment as well. Llorente leaving the ball in the midfield for Verba. Verba turning on the edge of the centre circle into the feet of Joseph and straight back again for Strauch. Joseph very neat and tidy. Aronson retreating. Rodrigo plays it behind him and out towards Dramé. Now Greenwood on the edge of the centre circle. Flicks a little ball that he engineers cleverly with the outside of his right boot. Shot comes in from distance from Verba. Verba will play it back for Strauch. Strauch in a central position. Aronson helping it on the half turn. Rodrigo similarly trying to play it in between Cardiff players. Couldn't do so. And the Bluebirds knock it away. It's attack against defence at the moment. Aronson over the bar via a deflection. And it's going to be a corner which will be taken by Leeds United. Let's get very quick team news from the Man City-Chelsea game. Nigel Adderley.
Yes, good afternoon, Jim. 7 changes for City. Julian Alvarez, the World Cup winner, starts. 6 for Chelsea. Bashir Humphreys and Lewis Hall, the youngsters who come in, along with the returning Mason Mount. Commentary at 4:30.
Nigel, thank you. Greenwood to take this corner for Leeds United on their right-hand side as they try and find an equalising goal. Both arms above his head. Right-footed away, swinging delivery in towards the near post, looking for a flick from Firpo. Wasn't forthcoming, and Bagan is able to clear and put it out of play for a throw. Leeds in a real hurry to take it. Jesse Marsh acting as ball boy, but Cardiff are going to make a change. So while they bring on Wintle and O'Dowda, we'll get team news from Villa against Stevenage. Good afternoon, Abigail Davis.
Yeah, good afternoon, Unai Emery makes 8 changes for this one. Birthday boy Olsen in goal. Sanson, who's played just 1 minute of league football this season, he also starts. Jacob Ramsey, who hasn't played since November, returns to the bench. As for Steve Evans' side, 1 change for them as Taylor replaces Gilby. Updates from Villa against Stevenage from Villa Park from 4:30.
Abigail, thank you very much. Wintle and O'Dowda coming on here for Cardiff. And Philogene and Sawyers are the players that have made way. So Ryan Wintle on, a player who made nearly 200 appearances for Crewe. And Callum O'Dowda, one of the principal attacking threats for Cardiff, although he's been playing at left back recently, the Irish international, the former Oxford and Bristol City man. And they've hardly missed a game between them, those two, and they're on now for the final 13 minutes of what is a defensive rearguard action from Cardiff, protecting this 2-1 advantage. Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce talking through the action from the Cardiff City Stadium, where the hosts lead Premier League Leeds by 2-1, but it's all Leeds now. Cardiff with a little bit of respite. Ball headed by Ojo, and under pressure Greenwood's conceded the throw.
Yeah, Leeds are the ones with the momentum, but they're not really the team that are carving Cardiff open. Cardiff have stemmed that initial flow after the first goal from Leeds, and they look reasonably comfortable within the game. But as you and I know, a goal changes that very quickly.
Ojo playing it forward. Harris trying to get himself into a shooting position, but it was just flicked away from his right boot as he was preparing to shoot. And Leeds are going to be able to clear. It's Cardiff 2, Leeds 1, Hartlepool 0, Stoke 3, Norwich 0, Blackburn 1, Stockport 0, Walsall 1. Earlier today, Bristol City Swansea ended 1 apiece. Derby beat Barnsley 3-0 there in the draw, which you can hear live on Talksport at the conclusion of this game, ahead of Manchester City against Chelsea. You're listening to Cardiff against Leeds in the FA Cup. It's live on Talksport with Carling. We're made by our mates, 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. Leeds getting it through here. Rodrigo, left-hand side of the penalty area, flashes a shot in, and it's put just wide on the follow-up, but surely tipped wide by a defender, and it is a penalty. And it may well be a red card. It is. And Cardiff, with 10 minutes to go, are in big trouble now. The initial shot from Rodrigo, beaten away by Jack Anick. But as it came out to the edge of the penalty area, a right-footed shot came in, thunderous drive, which looked as though it was going to be going in for all the world. And the Cardiff back line couldn't take any chances. And the left hand came out to tip it around the post. And as a result of that, Bagan is set off. Leeds have a penalty and a chance to draw level, and they have a numerical advantage for the last 10 minutes.
They're really struggling to handle the tempo of Leeds now. Leeds have obviously changed the tactical approach a little bit more, going backwards to forwards a little bit quicker, balls in behind the back line of Cardiff, and it's suiting them. And as you say, once the ball gets in behind your back line, you've got a big problem. And it's Bagan there. We're just looking at the replay. Definite handball, left hand come out. If it didn't, the ball nestles in the back of the net, and well, going down to 10 men, he might well have been. If this hits the back of the net, he probably would have been better off letting it hit the back of the net, to be honest.
Well, it was an outstanding save, but he's conceded a penalty. Can Rodrigo capitalise on it? Left-footed save by Alec, diving to his left, 2 hands to it, beats it away. Bagan will feel justified, and with 10 to go, it's still Cardiff 2, Leeds United 1.
Well, it was worth taking a red card if the ball doesn't hit the back of your net on a penalty. So, well, we've got a game on our hands now. Cardiff down to 10 men, and they're going to be on the back foot for the rest of the game.
It's only his second Cardiff City appearance. Jack Anick with a massive save from Rodrigo. Not the best penalty. It was nowhere near the corner, but it was a decent stop from Anick, more than a decent stop under the circumstances, and the lead is still intact. But can the 10 men, as they now are, hang on for 9 minutes plus stoppage time? Let's go to Carrow Road. Ian Stringer.
We've got 9 minutes to go. It remains Norwich City 0, Blackburn Rovers 1. The 39th minute goal from Vale separates the sides. But Jim, Norwich have had 19 shots in this game and haven't scored. Blackburn should have had a penalty. Hanley handballed. VAR would have given it. Not at this stage in the competition. Norwich 0, Blackburn 1.
So Blackburn going through there with 9 minutes to go. Cardiff going through here with 9 minutes to go. But you just know that there are twists and turns yet. Leeds are going to be bringing Sonny Perkins on shortly. Here's Dramé on the Leeds right, and he'll go back towards halfway. Leeds have got a player down injured inside the centre circle, and the players that are over there are asking for the medical staff to come on very quickly. They're concerned about the extent of this problem. I can't see who it is that is down. He's got Leeds players between me and him.
I think it's Nonto.
Is it Nonto?
Yeah. Well, put it this way, the only people who don't seem to be concerned are the medical staff for Leeds and the referee, which have took an eternity to get on.
Well, Strauch was really concerned, and he was very animated in signalling over to the bench that the medical staff should come on. Perkins will come on in a moment. Sonny Perkins, who scored 5 goals in 3 games for England under-19s earlier this season. Just the one appearance for Leeds, which came at Wolves in the League Cup. He's going to be coming on for his FA Cup debut, someone you know well from his time at West Ham.
Yeah, certainly do know Sonny very well. He's a centre forward that enjoys running in behind. He's certainly got an eye for a goal, no doubt about that. Good acquisition by Leeds, I think.
So he's going to be coming on in a moment, and that will be Leeds' last change. They want to assess this problem for Nonto before he comes on. Understandably, they want to make sure that they're replacing the right man.
Yeah, just looked at the replay of that again, Jim. He was just caught on the Achilles. I don't think it was intentional at all. Just a loose foot from a Cardiff player just on the back of his Achilles.
Well, it's been some cup tie, this. And I think that when we saw that there were 15 changes between the two teams before a ball was kicked, there was an element of disappointment maybe in some quarters. I'll hold my hand up to that. And you want to see the sides play strong, representative 11s, but it hasn't detracted from the game at all. This has been a belting cup tie, and as I mentioned, with 6.5 minutes plus a sizable amount of stoppage time still to be played. It's not over yet. Perkins will be coming on very shortly. Nonto's back on the field after receiving that treatment. He may end up still being the man that they replace, but it could conceivably be Aronson. We'll find out shortly. Dramé coming in off the right-hand touchline. Plays it back towards the edge of the centre circle for Llorente. Here's Verba, wearing 39 for his new club. Out towards Nonto. Nonto with an opportunity to run it. Ojo, and he's done well to turn past him with ease, although Sang, who's got better as the game has gone on, defended it well. They've gone into the line of fire, blocks it, and it goes out of play for a Leeds throw. Now the change is going to be made for Leeds, but first of all, there's going to be a Cardiff change. Ojo off, and Joe Rawls coming on. The man who played in Cardiff's last win over Leeds, which was here back in 2020, and not long after the post-COVID restart. So Rawls is coming on, a veteran of more than 300 games for the club. Harris is coming off as well, and he's going to be replaced by Perienji, the centre-half, a Scouser by birth, a Singaporean by descent. So he'll come on, man sent off against Norwich on the opening day, but has hardly missed a game since then. And he'll come on to bolster the back line. The Leeds change, it will be Aronson making way for Perkins. And that's it in terms of the changes. So both managers have played their cards now. Perkins for Aronson. NG for Harris for Cardiff. And Rawls for Ojo, the Bluebirds' other change. 4 to go.
Yeah, the tighter we get to the 90-minute mark, I think the best Leeds can hope for potentially is is a point and take them back to Ellen Road for a replay. But if they get a goal any time in the next minute or so, they'll be looking for the victory.
Rodrigo's missed penalty, will that be a defining moment? Dramé, looks like it at the moment. Dramé back through the midfield for Strauch. Strauch down the left-hand side for Nonto. Ball in from him, and G's there to knock it away. And Strauch forced to retrace his steps, gets there on the halfway line. It's just given a little shove by Tanner, who's moved up front now for Cardiff. The Leeds work it forward. Rodrigo onside, gets to the bar, pulls it in, and it's missed by Mateo Joseph. And it's a shocking miss as well. He just came in slightly behind him. Rodrigo did really well to get to the byline, hook his right foot around it, and the young Spaniard coming onto it missed the target from 5 yards out.
Yeah, he did. I was convinced that was offside, I've got to say. Just waiting for a replay to come up on that one, but certainly decent play, good movement, good run by Rodrigo. Whether he was just straight offside or not, the linesmen seem to think not.
And no VAR, of course, in this particular FA Cup tie, so it would have counted with the flag not coming up.
Well, what an opportunity that was. We've had two really good opportunities to get back on level terms now.
Well, Cardiff down to 10 men, but very much playing with a back five. O'Dowda and Sang, the fullbacks, and G on the right of three centre-halves with Nelson in the middle and Simpson on the left. So they're playing 5-3-1 in a bid to protect this 2-1 lead. Greenwood at Stockport equalise right at the end at home to Walsall at Edgeley Park. 1-1 there, that heading for a replay in the Black Country in 10 days' time. Will this one go to a replay as well? Nonto getting to the byline, checks back inside onto his right foot, then onto his left, then his right again. Poor ball in from Verber, one of the few poor touches that he's had since coming on, and Cardiff clear out of play for a Leeds throw, which will be taken about 10 yards inside Cardiff territory. 90 seconds to go. Man City, Chelsea to come. Leeds next in action at Villa on Friday, and that's live for you on Talksport exclusively to national radio. Friday night, 7 o'clock build-up for an 8 p.m. start. Ball cleared by Simpson. Will Leeds still be in the cup when they go to Villa? Dramé, right in front of us, midway inside the Cardiff half, taking the throw. Back to halfway, Llorente. Cardiff down to 10 men after Bagan was sent off for a deliberate handball. Rodrigo missed the resulting penalty, saved by Anik. And Cardiff still lead by 2-1, even though they're down to 10 men. Nonto. Here's Perkins. Perkins out to the Leeds United left. High ball inside the area. Rodrigo lurking. In behind, it was cleared. It might break for Greenwood. Greenwood flicking it down for Dramé. Right hand side of the area. Flashes in across. Doesn't get to Mateo Joseph. It's well cleared by Joe Rawls. Back down towards the right hand side again for Dramé. Now to Greenwood. Greenwood to Llorente. Llorente to his left hand side for Strauch. Fourth official's got the numbers board in his hand. We'll find out in a moment exactly how long he's going to be added. It would imagine it's going to be at least 5. Shot coming in from Verber. That one blocked as well, and it'll break Cardiff's way. Tanner's got no support at all, but he'll make his way 30 yards upfield, 40 yards upfield into Leeds territory. Gets the better of Strauch. He held him up well. Now he flashes the ball out to the left for Rinomhota. No foul on him. Rawls will keep it in on the Cardiff left. He was brought down. Free kick to Cardiff as we go into 5 minutes of added time.
Well, incredible phase of play there. Cardiff had the opportunity to take it into the right corner flag, turn that down, then an opportunity for Cardiff on the left-hand side to take it in the corner flag, and then a Leeds player come back, made his mind up and just took him down, and perfect for what Cardiff want, territory and stopping play.
Rawls and O'Dowda are the two Cardiff players standing over this free kick, probably discussing how long to wait before taking it. Rawls does knock it short for O'Dowda, no surprise in that. Leeds then win it back and win a free kick of their own, conceded by the Irishman Callum O'Dowda. And the free kick's taken quickly by Greenwood. Cardiff 2, Leeds 1. Cardiff down to 10 men. And the back 5 drop deep as a unit. Leeds playing it forward. Just a little bit too lively, the through ball that evaded Verber and goes through for Anik, the hero of the hour for Cardiff, and his second appearance for the club with that penalty save from Rodrigo. And Anik, having picked up the ball on the right-hand side of his penalty area, makes his way almost to the left-hand side of the box. And still hasn't got rid of the ball yet. Now he will. He'll just bowl it outside the penalty area and drive it left-footed. Headed back through the Leeds midfield by Dramé. A high left-footed clearance from Simpson. Caught by Joel Robles. And he gets it out quickly for Firpo. Now played for by the Leeds left-back out towards Willie Gnonto. Gnonto with Mateo Joseph making his way inside the penalty area. Rodrigo's in there as well, too high for Rodrigo. Clipped off by Simpson to Dramé, the former Cardiff man, laying it back. Greenwood with a shot, and that's blocked. Out for Llorente. Llorente scooping it away from Tanner. Gnonto picking it up. He did well to maintain possession, flicked it past Tanner to get it back for Llorente again. The 10 men still hanging on. Dramé down for Greenwood, takes it down towards the corner flag, gets it inside the box. Gnonto controls it, but his shot on the turn blocked by NG. Right-footed ball back in. That one hits Rawls. Leeds can't get quality service inside the penalty area, and it's hurting them. They're fast running out of time. Greenwood's ball in, flicked on by Rodrigo. Half cleared again. Strauch down for Gnonto. Gnonto goes to the byline, gets past Sang, pulls it in, flick back in, equaliser! Leeds have got away with it! Mateo Joseph takes the acclaim of the Leeds United supporters. Whether he has got the last touch, I don't know. But the bottom line is that Cardiff have fallen just short of the line. In the 4th minute of added time, ball worked inside the penalty area, flicked on, driven back in again. I think it's Sonny Perkins actually that is claiming the goal. It was an excellent ball in. Perkins with a little back heel flick right in front of the goalkeeper, claims he was offside, but Perkins with a touch that turns it over the line, and Leeds United are out of jail.
Yeah, it was Gnonto driving the full-back to the touchline that's ended up playing Perkins onside. And when the ball come in, certainly I've seen firsthand this kid can finish. And it's got Leeds out of jail at this moment. Now, will they have an aptitude to chase the game to try and win it?
Sonny Perkins' first goal for Leeds United. And he ties it up at 2-2. And time will be added on for the celebrations. So probably 2 minutes of time left to play in this game. Rodrigo will feel much, much better about that missed penalty now. Mateo Joseph with the last touch. It's gone over the line and out of play for a Cardiff throw. And the 10 men were nearly there. A match they led for more than half an hour by 2 clear goals. But it's a game that, as we go into the last couple of minutes, they are desperately hanging on to even get a replay. Throw taken by Perry NG up the Cardiff right, and cleared again by the Leeds back line. They'll know they've got an outstanding chance here, even with only about a minute of playing time left. Just can they get the ball forward and create one last opportunity? Cleared up the left-hand side. Joseph trying to flick it on, and G stopped that happening. Leeds bring it down in the midfield. That's a really good ball down for Dramé. Dramé on the right-hand side, playing it towards Rodrigo. Rodrigo laying it back to him. The former Cardiff man's got Greenwood to his right. Diving headed clearance from O'Dowda. And then a sliding challenge comes in with real ferocity from Verber. That gives Cardiff a free kick and might mean that they get a replay.
Yeah, might well do. As I say, they're hanging on for grim death. If there was probably another 3 or 4 minutes on the clock, you'd fancy Leeds big time, but I think the clock's just going to beat them. But it gives Cardiff a replay. They'll be disappointed having taken a 2-goal lead. But Leeds have had to dig deep into the substitutes bench to get them out of this mess.
Verber in the book. Cardiff will take the free kick. Everyone drops into Leeds territory just for a moment. Joe Rawls was down injured, but he's okay. Well, we're in the 7th minute of added time now, and Jared Gillett signals that will be that, and the two sides will do it all again up in West Yorkshire in 10 days' time in what you would imagine will be an engaging and entertaining replay. This one's been a cup cracker. 2 goals in an 8-minute spell inside the opening half hour for Cardiff City, and Premier League Leeds, who'd lost each of their last 6 FA Cup ties, staring down the barrel of elimination to lower division opposition again. But they made a triple change on the hour and it turned the game. Rodrigo, one of the players that came off the bench, scored. And then, having seen a penalty saved, he was instrumental in Sonny Perkins, another of the Leeds substitutes, bundling the ball over the line in the 3rd minute of stoppage time. Leeds have a litany of cup defeats to lower division opposition behind them, but Cardiff haven't added their name yet again to that list. And 21 years after an almighty cup shock across the road at Ninian Park between these two, Leeds find a way to get back to West Yorkshire and earn a replay. A wonderful game of football. Finishes Cardiff City 2, Leeds United 2.
Truly magnificent. A quarter of the Premier League have already gone out of the FA Cup. It looked for all the world like another one. Leeds were going out until an injury time equaliser from another sub, Sonny Perkins, the youngster, and Leeds having missed a penalty and seeing Cardiff go down to 10 men, just squeeze a replay out of what was a brilliant tie live on Talksport. It finished 2-2. I'll get the reaction from Stuart Pearce shortly. Blackburn are through. They've beaten Norwich 1-0. We'll be there shortly. Stoke have beaten Hartlepool